The Honourable Ruth Dyson in reply.
Can I just note the member's more considered contribution to this debate than that of his colleagues? It was appreciated. His colleagues demonstrated an arrogance and a disregard and a lack of understanding of the proposal in this bill that I find really frustrating. It doesn't take long to read a member's bill. They are very, really large or complex. We don't have the advantage of government departments or agencies to write them. We write them ourselves. Can I have a quarter, please, ma'am? One of the members, Todd Muller, suggested that my bill was a waste of time. This is the member who supported his colleagues writing outstanding contributions to the parliamentary process, such as allowing airport companies to advertise lost books from the cafe at the airport in different ways. Or Matt Ducey's bill, which gave companies the right to ask their shareholders by letter or email if they wanted a hard copy of the annual report. That's the rubbish that those members supported to waste the time of Parliament, and they have the arrogance and the audacity to say that this bill is a waste of time. At least the member who just resumed his seat acknowledged the integrity and the professionalism of teachers. That's actually what this bill is about. National's got a track record in regard to its relation to teachers. I remember when the National Government removed the registration of teachers, and what did they do at the same time? What did they do at the same time? Introduced a mandatory registration for vets. That's what that government did. Don't have to be registered to be a teacher, but you do have to be registered to be a vet. How does that show respect towards a profession? Well, actually, it doesn't. Todd Muller also, come and join this side if you're so supportive of our debate, Honourable Simon Bridges, you'd be welcome briefly. Todd Muller also demonstrated his ignorance of the process that the Education Council is going through. I shouldn't just pick on him. Todd Barclay and other national contributors did it as well, including, sadly, the chair of the Education Committee. My bill was put in as a response to the punitive measures introduced by the Minister of Education, coupled with her disregard for teachers and the recognition of their profession in the name of their regulatory body, formerly known as the Teachers' Council. It's not something you need to die in a ditch for. But if those members had the courage of their conviction and the confidence of the quality of their debate, they would test that at a committee. They would support this bill to go to a committee and say, let's hear from the public, let's hear from the professionals, let's hear from parents and the broader education sector and see what their view is. But they're not able to do that. They don't have any courage in their conviction. They just have poorly written research notes, probably by Mr Bishop, actually, judging by the quality of them, that they just read out. No understanding. All right, perhaps they weren't that bad. I apologise for that insult to the researcher who did write the notes. So the Education Teachers Code of Ethics Amendment Bill recognises the value and the integrity of teachers as professionals. It goes to that high regard, high trust relationship that I talked about earlier. It's an aspirational code, an aspirational set of principles rather than a punitive one. It has a commitment to learners, to family, to society and the profession. Mr Speaker, the timing of this was that it was in the ballot until the day before the Education Council released their draft code. My bill came out first, and then the Education Council released their draft code. I am supportive of the code. I think it looks good. There is no guarantee that a future minister will appoint people who are as supportive of the profession to the council as the current make-up of it allows. We could end up with a punitive regime for the code for teachers in the future. This bill would future-proof against that and ensure that we retain the integrity of the profession and retain the confidence of the public.
The question is that the motion be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. The contrary, no. Well, maybe I could have my say first, Ms. Delahunty. I know, given our relationship for the last sort of 50 years, it would be unusual. The ayes have it. A party vote is called for. The clerk will conduct a party vote.